More on China's evolving role on the world stage. I spoke earlier with David Dollar at the Brookings Institution. He's a leading analyst of China's economy and U.S. China economic relations.
China's really on a charm offensive, telling its neighbors that there are a lot of win-win opportunities with economic integration, and I think that's very healthy and positive. When I look particularly at this One Belt, One Road initiative, it strikes me that the maritime part of it, so thinking about the sea route that goes south from China, through the South China Sea and toward the Indian Ocean, there are a lot of big economies along that route. Indonesia, India, for example, Vietnam, these are all very large economies. When you think about the land route heading west from China, through Kazakhstan and other countries, these countries are big on a map, but frankly, they're not particularly big economies. So I predict we see more activity, more engagement with China and countries along the sea route.
Let me ask you about its role on the UN Security Council.
Yeah, I think China is a very important member of the United Nations, of course, and a Security Council veto country. I noticed in some recent statistics that China supplies more international peacekeepers than any other Security Council veto country, right? So China, more than France or the United States or the United Kingdom or Russia, China is sending peacekeepers, particularly into difficult spots in Africa. This is a fairly recent development, and I think it's very positive. It's another example of China playing an important role, in this case, in the whole world, not just in Asia.
Well, let's talk a little bit further about that, because Yemen, I think, an example of that, where they helped to evacuate a number of citizens from various countries. Perhaps years past, this is probably not a role we would have seen from China. And what does it say, speaking about the future, do you think?
I think that's a very good point. I think 15, 20 years ago, China really wouldn't have had the capability to be a leading country evacuating citizens from a hot spot. And so China's military capacity has developed a lot. Its international engagement has developed a lot. And so I think it's quite natural that it's playing that kind of role in Yemen today.
You were talking about economic engagement as well, the sea route versus the land route. What do you see will be China's evolving economic status?
Well, it's the biggest economy in Asia and the second biggest economy in the world. Its growth rate is slowing down. That's a natural thing. But there's still a good chance it'll emerge as the largest economy in the world in about a decade. So it's natural for China to play a leading role in the world. And the key question is, does it provide public goods for others? I think it's doing some of that now. Normally, you'd look to the big regional economy to be creating demand for others. In order to do that, you have to be, it's the issue of net exports that really creates demand. China has a pretty large trade surplus still. So for me, a question going forward is, will China reduce its trade surplus and create demand for other Asian countries and for the world economy?
David Dollar joining us earlier from Brookings.